What's going on there, YouTube? Welcome back to another comic book video. Okay, so we're going to continue our coverage over the X-Men, but now we have to jump back over to, well, Uncanny X-Men as we continue our coverage leading into Fatal Attractions, the next crossover that we are going to talk about very soon on my channel. But first, we got to jump back over to Uncanny X-Men and cover another story arc that leads into that actual crossover. Now, this is a two-part story arc that takes place in Uncanny X-Men issue number 301 and 302. Now, with this two-part story arc, it's all about the idea of our heroes once again being attacked by the upstart organization. Now, this is a group of characters that we had officially talked about before. You see, this is a group of characters who are just trying to kill off other people for their own kind of sick enjoyment. And I'll give you guys a quick reminder who they are as we go through today's video. So getting into the opening pages of Uncanny X-Men issue number 301, we actually pick up with Selene being tortured by Fitzroy. Now, Selene is a character where we haven't truly learned much about her just yet. And really, in the late 1990s, when you have Marvel really trying their best to begin telling us her actual origin story, leading into the 2000s where she did become more popular, but also used more for different story arcs. But right now, she's being tortured by another character, and that would be Fitzroy. Now, Fitzroy is also a mutant, but he comes from the future, Bishop future. And just like Bishop, he is currently stuck in the past right now at the moment. But he also had joined the Upstart organization. Now, the Upstart organization is a group of mutants who go out of their way to kill other people. Most of the time, they're killing off mutants as a way to receive points for their killings. And the person who has the most points become the actual leader of the entire organization. Well, sorry, actually second in charge of the entire organization after Game Master, the true ruler of the entire group. Now, when it comes to Fitzroy, he's right now trying to regain his position as the leader of the Upstart organization by using Selene to kill her off, to get those points to get him back on top. But before he does kill her off, he wants to have a meeting with all the members of, well, the Upstart organization. And so he needs the attention of Game Master. And Game Master is an omnipath. His mind is connected to all minds across the world. He feels almost what every single person on Earth is currently feeling. And so for Selene right now, feeling pain thanks to Fitzroy's machine, he knows that sooner or later it should get the attention of Game Master. And it does. And so you have Game Master being able to take the mind of Fitzroy over somewhere else to have an actual conversation with the other members of the Upstart organization. Now, we had officially talked about each member of the Upstart organization. Like, for example, we have Fitzroy, the guy from Bishop's future. We also have Shinobi Shaw, the son to Sebastian Shaw. Also, he is the reason why Sebastian's dead right now, because Shinobi killed his dad off to receive a lot of points. And currently, Shinobi is the actual leader of the Upstart organization. He has the most points. You have Sienna Blaze, and we met her back in X-Men Unlimited issue number 1. Now, for Sienna Blaze, she has 0 points. We have Fabian Cortez, and then lastly, we have Graydon Creed. Now, Graydon Creed is technically, I want to say the newest character right now for us, because Graydon Creed is the leader of the Friends of Humanity. He's just a regular human who loves the idea of killing golf mutants. And that is why he had actually joined this group right here, to get part in the game of killing golf mutants. Now, the reason why we're having this meeting right now is to basically find out who is their next target. If they are able to kill off their next target, that person will receive a lot of points and also have the possibility of becoming the next leader of the Upstart organization. So, for example, that will be Forge. Forge is the next target. If they kill him off, then they have the possibility of getting a lot of points and becoming the next leader of the group. Now, I want to jump over to the school of Charles Xavier. And the reason why, because I want to talk more about the actual virus that has been going around killing off mutants when it comes to our coverage over the X-Men. You see, we had learned that Stripe had released some kind of virus out into the world, and that virus is going around killing off different mutants around the world. Now, not everyone knows about the virus just yet. So, like, for example, only Cyclops, Mr. Sinister, Charles Xavier, Moira Taggart, and maybe a handful of other characters. But the thing is, every single person that gets this virus, they die in a matter of a few days. And right now, Colossus' little sister, she has the virus. Magic currently has the virus, and she is going to die here in a few days. Now, for Colossus, he has no idea that his sister has the virus. He still believes it's some kind of weird sickness that his sister has. Charles Xavier and Moira Taggart has not informed the man about what kind of virus she has. Now, this is also the book that tells us called the Legacy Virus. And this is the big name when it comes to X-Men comics because this virus will go around and begin to kill off mutants at a very fast rate. But either way, it's Charles saying, we cannot tell Colossus anything at all because this man has already gone through a lot. He lost his brother to suicide. His parents were killed off thanks to the government of Russia. Right now, all he has left is his sister. If you tell that man that right now his sister is going to die, he is going to fall apart. And so they don't tell him anything about Ileana and the virus she has. Now, I want to jump over to Forge, and here's the reason why. Because you had Forge leave the X-Men a while back. Now, the reason why he left the X-Men is because, well, he realized that Charles Xavier's dream is not really reachable. The whole idea of the possibility of humans and mutants being able to live together in harmony, it just can't happen. Because humans will always find a way to hate mutants, and possibly mutants will always find a way to hate on humans. You have two parties who are not really able to work together to live in harmony. Now, with all that being said, Forge left the X-Men, but when he did leave, he also took Mystique with him. Now, the reason why, because over the years, with Mystique powers, she had pretended to be a lot of different people, and that did a huge number to her mind. And so her mind was officially broken. And so Forge realized that he was technically the only one who could possibly help her and heal her mind back together so that she'll be good old Mystique once again. Now, I want to jump over to Bishop and Forge, and here's the reason why, because you have those two characters right now on their way over to, well, Dallas, Texas, to meet up with Forge. Now, this is huge for two different reasons. The first is that, well, this will be the first time you have Storm and Forge having a conversation after their breakup. And that's pretty huge, but also because Charles realized that he has a lot of Shi'ar technology. That technology could possibly be used to find a way to get a cure for this virus. But the problem is the tech right now is not doing good enough to actually find a cure. So why not bring Forge in? A guy who is great with machines could possibly upgrade the machines to the point where they might be able to actually find a cure for the virus and it saved the life of Colossus' little sister. Now, like I said a while back, Forge is now the next target for the Upstart organization. So right now, their main goal is to go after him, to basically kill him off. And so right now, you have Forge just trying to help Mystique out through helping healing her mind, but then out of nowhere, he is attacked by Fitzroy. Now, this makes for a cool battle. And the reason why, because Fitzroy is right now using future technology as a way to bring down Forge. But at the same time, when it comes to Forge, with his mutant ability, he is able to create tech that's so far advanced that it could actually rival against the tech that Fitzroy is actually using. But either way, right now for Forge, he has two goals right now: to protect Mystique, but to also take down Fitzroy as well. But now we have to jump over to Bobby Drake, aka Iceman. Now, this is the point where you basically have Iceman about to end his relationship with Opal. And really, it's not him trying to end it. It's really more of her. But before she's able to have that conversation with him, he is called away for what is happening right now in Dallas with the whole idea of Fitzroy trying to attack Forge. And so him and Archangel and the rest of Gold Team gotta go to help out Storm Bishop with that situation. Getting back over to Texas, we actually pick up with Forge just trying his best to fight against Fitzroy. Now, Fitzroy is actually giving Forge a challenge, but Forge is able to actually hold his own for the time being. It really showed that no matter how high tech that Fitzroy tech truly is, that Forge tech can actually challenge his actual tech. Either way, you do have the two characters go back and forth in their battle, but then you have Bishop appear. And when Bishop does appear, you have Fitzroy get very upset because it really shows that he still blames Bishop about the fact that right now both characters are technically stuck in the past. But either way, you do have Fitzroy try to attack Bishop. But at the ending of this chapter, we actually find out that that was not Bishop at all. That in reality, it was actually, well, Mystique pretending to be Bishop. Now, unfortunately for Mystique, she does get seriously injured by an attack by Fitzroy. Now, for Storm, she's trying her best to get to Forge and also Mystique. But that is when the entire tower of Forge just blows up. And so we're kind of left to wonder in the possibility, did Forge, Mystique, and also Fitzroy possibly been killed off in some kind of explosion? And so as we dive into Uncanny X-Men issue number 302, we actually pick up with Storm trying to use her powers to protect the innocent people who could most likely be affected by the debris thanks to the explosion of the tower that belonged to Forge. Now, while trying to use her powers to protect these innocent people, of course, you have some people there who truly hate mutants. And so when they see Storm, they're kind of like, look, here is another mutant trying to use their powers to kill us, not realizing that right now she's trying to use her powers as a way to protect their lives. But right now, Storm has no choice but to go ahead and block out the hatred and continue to focus on trying to protect them from being killed off. Now, for Bishop, while you have Storm trying to use her powers as a way to protect all the innocent people in Dallas who were nearby the tower, you have Bishop just going ahead into the tower to hopefully find Mystique and Forge. Now, for Bishop, he truly believes that Forge and Mystique are most likely dead because to him, there's no way they would be able to actually survive that kind of explosion. But hey, he's trying his best to hold on to some kind of hope for them. But now we have to jump over to the school of Charles Xavier for a brief moment. And the reason why, because we actually pick up with Ileana calling out for her brother. But the problem is right now, the entire X-Men Gold Team is away in Dallas on that certain mission. It's just her and Charles Xavier. And so you have Charles actually using his powers as a way to ease her mind, to pretend to be Colossus, as she calls out for her brother. Honestly, I don't really like this moment, but like, hey, you know what? Let's go ahead and move on. Now, again, for a brief moment, we jump back over to Storm, still trying to use her powers as a way to protect all the innocent people nearby the tower from being killed off by debris. But while she's trying to do that, she's being attacked by a group of people who truly do hate mutants. But then out of nowhere, a young blonde police officer appears out of nowhere to protect her by saying, listen, I understand what she's doing. I'm not somebody who's full of hatred like you guys are. And so he's able to actually hold his own while Storm continues to use her powers to save the lives of all the innocent people in that area. Now, getting back over to Bishop, you have Bishop just trying his best to hopefully find Forge and also Mystique. Now, after a good few moments of trying to break through some kind of barrier, he does find Forge. Now, at first, he believed that Forge was an enemy. Then he realized, nope, it's not an enemy, it's Forge. everything is all cool. And also Mystique is still alive, but just barely. But either way, at least Bishop was able to actually find them. Now, we jump back over to Storm, and the only reason why, because you have Storm still being talked down to by the group of people who truly do hate Storm for being a mutant. But luckily for her, the rest of the X-Men team arrive, like for example, Iceman. And so you have Storm and Iceman being able to use their powers as a way to protect the innocent people in that area. Now, I kind of want to go ahead and jump back over to Bishop as a way to kind of begin to wind down this actual story, because when we do, you have Bishop and Forge and also Mystique trying to get somewhere safe. But then they're confronted by Fitzroy. Now, you do have our heroes trying their best to fight against him, but the problem is in mid-battle, it does look like our heroes might lose to Fitzroy. Now, luckily for Bishop, Forge, and Mystique, the rest of the X-Men Gold team do arrive. So like Archangel, Jean Grey, and also Colossus. But this leads into a huge moment for Colossus. Because like I said earlier, when it comes to Colossus, the man has gone through a lot in a very short period of time. The whole idea that he had lost his brother thanks to suicide. He had lost his parents thanks to the Russian government. This man has gone through a lot in a very short period of time. And so because of that, you have Colossus just fed up with the whole idea of being an X-Men for so long, but not actually seeing any kind of improvement around the world with him being an X-Men and fighting alongside other X-Men members. The only thing he has seen is the world getting worse and worse by the moment. And so he's just fed up, especially with the idea that Fitzroy is another mutant from the future who came here to the past to cause more pain to innocent people. And so for Colossus, he wants to go ahead and kill off Fitzroy. But you have Archangel and Bishop and Iceman being able to actually calm him down. Like, hey man, listen, you don't want to do that at all. Like, you gotta understand, you are not a killer. If you kill him, you'll be just like him. But for Colossus, it's kind of like, what's the point though? Because this world is not getting better. This world is continuing to get worse and worse. Now, the ending of this book, we actually jump back over to Jubilee, who's at the X Mansion. Now, while being at home, she hears the doorbell ring. And when she runs to the door to answer it, well, she sees Kitty Pryde. Now, if you saw our Excalibur videos, you would know that Kitty Pryde had walked away from the team while most of the team was away in space. They had no idea that Kitty Pryde had officially left the team to go back home to the X Mansion. Now, the reason why she is there because Colossus had called her and told her what was happening to Illyana. And so that is why she's back here right now, to see her old childhood friend. But this is where we are going to end today's comic book video. So please leave me a like down below and subscribe. But guys, see y'all next time. Later.